There are so many amazing, crazy, yummy people out there on this beautiful planet of ours. And they are living amazing, crazy, yummy lives. I am so curious about them and their lives. I love talking to as many of them as possible. And that, my friends, is my theatre of joy. And what is your theatre of joy? Eena Basur is a person of many colors, many fragrances. She is a facilitator playing on several different playgrounds. As a creator and a designer, she plays in different kinds of spaces. I love talking to her because she has an original take on everything. She does not hold back and honestly talks about what that take is. She's always in question about what else is possible, about what would be fun to do next. That, to my mind, is a great way to live. The following conversation with her is probably as fun as her life is. Have a listen. Hello, hello. Welcome, guys, to the podcast Theatre of Joy. Today we have Eena Basur, and I'm so honored. Eena is a lot of things, like you just heard, and we'll dive right into it, shall we? So, Eena,
Hello.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you for coming. So, I want to ask you this. What is your theater of joy? I know you do a lot of stuff, a lot of things. You've been there, done that, you know. So, what is your theater of joy?
I would say it's the willingness to be able to talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime.
Ah, that's interesting. So, that nothing stops you from talking to, caste, class,
Yep.
race. That is other things, but energies.
Yep. Like nothing or no one is off limit.
Oh wow.
So what does that create?
Yeah, and what else becomes possible then? I liked it. So, tell us more.
Um, well, the one of the things, and I've been lucky enough to have theater in my uh, or the what we call community theater to in while growing up, and 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 I think it's sort of if I look at everything that I've chosen my sort of entire life, a lot of it has to do with ways of engaging, ways of communicating, ways of whether that's through design, that's through interiors, that's through space, that's through body, is that through I had a communication design firm. I've done theater, I've done puppetry, I've done animation, I've done marketing and promotion. All of it is like ways to engage in a way that actually works, and a lot of it through my experience and through my choices, I've seen that um, some really don't work. I mean, if you look at the world, I think we can do with a bit of more engagement and a more of being able to talk to anyone, anytime, anywhere. And it's been, I won't say I'm all there, but it's definitely evolving, and I have more of it available today than I've had before. And how much more?
So, ways of communicating is like ways of putting yourself out there.
It is the way it's for you to be willing to show up in the world and in someone else's world and go
Hmm.
high, and it's
Hmm.
also the willingness to allow them to show up in your world
Hmm.
without barriers.
Hmm. We had something growing up which my mother used to say. It's in Punjabi. ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰ ਠੀਕ ਆ. Ah, like she was like, you know, I'm okay in my house, in my home, and to hell with everyone. I don't want to engage with anything, right? So you've gone much beyond that, right?
True. Well,
Mm.
I think her children would have had a different experience than her grandchildren did. But I thought that she always had a way of uh, seeping into your world, and she always had a way of engaging with you. Yes, she had that thing of like not being, how you have that, I'm fine here. But I saw her move with times and change and evolve as well,
Yeah.
to where she might have come from and where and I kind of really saw her as a gift because she had a subtlety.
Hmm?
She had a subtlety,
Hmm?
like
Hmm?
maybe she had mellowed down by the time we came about, but she had a subtlety about her, and she had a elegance about it in a way where you wanted to be around her and you wanted to know more about her.
Hmm. And you picked up some of that.
I guess we do from all sorts of people.
Yes. Wow. So tell us more about, you know, the will. Where has your willingness to engage led
Cool.
you? I mean, what experiences? Where has that led you? Would you do you want more of it or less of it?
Definitely more. Definitely more. Because it's also the I think it's like the curiosity in us, in all of us, right? The
Mm.
where we go, where we want to know more about. I was called nosy when I was a kid. I can see now why, but I'm always curious about how someone is, like, why they're choosing what they're choosing, what's going on, and that sort of has gone beyond. I mean, I used to have this might sound a little bizarre, but I used to have a mango. We had lots of during my growing up days. We had lots of uh, trees around in our house. It was the biggest sort of place where we could have an orchard, and there was this one particular mango tree that was the oldest, and it had the highest branches,
Mm.
and no one except me and squirrels could go all the way up. I was kind of lightweight, and so I would take my homework or something from school, and I would go up all the way onto the tree, and I would lie down. And I remember just lying down on the bark, because it had big barks. I could just completely horizontally lie down on it with my leg dangling, and I would be like, I don't know the answer to this. Like, what? Do you know a mango tree? What am I supposed to do with this homework? And it's invariably how somehow I would start picking up and writing, and it would just come. And no matter how bizarre that sounds, but I feel like everything around us has sort of consciousness and is
Yeah.
willing to gift and willing to contribute to us only if we asked.
Yeah.
And so that goes beyond just um, people, but it's also with animals and with
Mm.
walls and with
Trees.
trees and
I
with
I
chairs,
love
with
hugging
furniture.
trees. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of has opened up the way I design, the way I work with spaces, the way I
Mm.
create for design furniture or make furniture. I'm always looking at what does that create?
Mm.
What experience does it create for someone who's using it, for everything around it, and how
Mm.
each pieces also engage with each other.
Oh wow.
So, and I get that we all have that ability. The more I work with people, it's amazing how we are engaging, but we
Mm.
don't often acknowledge.
Mm.
And so acknowledging that, I mean, I think we're just scratching I'm just scratching the surface of what's possible.
Mm. Well, there would be some out there who would call you cookie.
They would be right.
I know.
I would
What's
say
the
thank
harm in
you.
being a little cookie?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, it does just expand
But it
your
also
world.
takes a cookie to see a cookie.
Yes, and it
So how
expands your
cookie are
world.
they?
I know. How many cookies are out there? Hi there, cookies.
Hello.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
But I don't know about you, but with me, every time that I find myself a little like, how can that person do that? Like, I've realized that how much of that is in me as well.
mm,
So that I haven't accessed or that I haven't stepped into or chosen
mm,
yet.
because you saw it in them.
Yeah. And it bugs you why you haven't chosen it. That's what's actually going on. Might be.
Oh, yeah. Now that I think of it, there are many times when I'm sitting in a train or in a plane, and there's somebody next to me who I wish would stop talking to me.
Yeah.
And that's, well, I'm going to change that because,
Yeah.
yeah, you have all points of views about, that auntie, that uncle, that this,
Yeah.
and you don't want to hear, but it might be interesting.
Well, I mean, the thing is that it's not that you have to now go and talk to everyone, but it's the willingness for you to be able to
Willingness.
engage,
Yeah.
create something different.
Yeah, I see
Because we
what you
all are
mean.
sort of living in our own bubbles, and someone just
Ah,
going and saying hi, it just, what does that create?
yeah,
And
yeah.
I totally get it. I used to be like that. I used to be like, let no one be on this seat
I
next
know.
to me.
Especially not someone with children,
Exactly.
little children.
Yeah, but that's really changed. And I think what's majorly changed is the recognition of what my engaging with someone or something creates,
Mm,
and the realization that it's my choice. It can create more
mm. And
by
if
my
it's,
just saying hi. So then I guess we all have to recognize within the engagement is that we are kind of a gift,
I know.
and that our,
Mm, mm,
our
mm.
what does our engagement with others around and the world create?
Yeah, I mean, one could be uh, open to trying all kinds of things, and then go around, be an advertisement for a different way of being,
Yeah.
right?
Or just being you.
Mm, being
Like it doesn't
yourself.
have to be something that looks like a way, but
Mm,
just being you and just going high without a point of view, without an agenda
mm,
of what that conversation has to create, uh, or that A plus B has to
mm,
be C. And if you don't have that, then it's amazing the kind of things you get to know.
mm.
Um, and others get to know about you, and the others get to know about themselves that was not acknowledged.
And you can have fun then.
We
That's
can definitely
exactly,
enjoy each other.
yeah,
Exactly.
that's exactly what a clown is.
Hmm.
A clown is like, hi,
Yeah.
got no problems.
Yep.
I mean, I'm the
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
I'm spacious, as they say.
Yeah.
And
My only thing with the clown is, which
mm,
I've had, and it could be a personal thing, and it might vary for different people, is that there seems to be a. I want to know what's going on behind the nose and behind the facade.
no, I mean,
So I want to know. Like I used to do that with even the television when I was a kid. I was like, what's behind? Like, where are these people coming from? What's going on? And so for me, it's always been sort of unveiling for myself as well, because we've learned these ways of sort of creating a beingness or an image.
mm,
And for me, when I'm looking with a clown or someone who's
entertaining.
entertaining, I want to know what's behind the nose, what's going on for them, because you are kind of aware of what's going on with someone,
Mm,
beyond what
showing
they
up
have
as.
decided what someone would see them as.
Mm. No, but
There's so much more.
a clown, clown is a way of being. It is not the
Okay.
entertainer.
Okay.
So clown is totally being herself or himself.
Ah, cool.
That's
Maybe
what
I
a
haven't experienced that with the
uh,
clown yet.
yeah. So in a clown, like in a clowning workshop, what you would learn is actually to be you.
Hmm.
And a clown is transparent. And if you actually go and ask a clown what is behind all this face, she or he will tell you,
Cool.
because that's what a clown is.
Cool.
Yeah, but yeah,
I would see
I
it
know what you
differently
mean.
now.
Magicians, entertainers, actors.
Yeah.
You want to know
You
what's
want to
behind that.
know, you want to
Mhm.
know people, just people
People.
also. Because, like, um, if I'm hanging out with my mother, or if I'm hanging out with my aunts, or if I'm hanging out with someone, how, how they're presenting themselves as and what's actually available might be two different things,
Hmm. And putting your
including me. I mean, it's it's the willingness to really go what is available here.
so putting yourself out there would be that if your aunt is kind of behaving in antish way, and but putting yourself out there would be showing up the I mean, you being showing up as the possibility to engage more, not just what an aunt or niece
Yeah,
relationship would would be expected of,
yeah.
or whatever.
I mean, it's that's interesting, isn't it?
Mm,
It might not even be from the space of like the requiring them to be
different.
different, but it's the willingness for you to receive more than like receive um, more than what's being presented.
Yeah, so there are two people, so they have an idea about what the other person is, a solid idea.
Hmm.
Okay, she's an aunt and she's going to talk and blab and tell me, you do this, why
Yeah,
aren't you having kids or whatever. And you have that thing and you're relating to that thing that you've created,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And your aunt is relating to something that she's
yeah,
created of you.
yeah.
And they're both
They're
not deep
both,
enough or
those two are
too,
conversing. You might not even be there.
yeah, you know,
Those two images are conversing. That's very
uh,
nicely put. Yeah, and doesn't that happen all the time?
it
Like where
happens all the
there's
time.
that autopilot going on, where you go into that
Mm,
autopilot thing rather
mm,
than just going, who is she being today? What does this person require? What do I
yeah,
require? What's possible here
what's
that
possible
I
here?
haven't considered before?
Yes, yes. And once you open up possibilities, then life can be fun. Even family can be fun,
It
which,
it can be.
normally none of us.
Yeah, it can be. Where when you don't require them to show up in a certain way, or
Hmm,
require yourself to show up in a certain way,
hmm. And you don't
then
have too many points of views, but who is like what?
yeah, yeah, and you're willing to have, yeah, of
Hmm,
what's actually going on.
hmm. Yeah, so let's put that on this situation. So there's a bhaiya, like, who has brought sabji for you or something like that, and there's you, who's mem saab. So bhaiya ke liye you're mem saab. Bhaiya is not going to go very far, you know,
Hmm.
in
Yeah.
knowing what you are,
Yeah.
and you also are not going to go far,
No. Yeah.
right? But if you meet a sabji wala every day,
Yeah.
you can sort of keep expanding your space and the space
Yeah.
that you know
Yeah.
so that you relate more. It might seem impossible. Oh, I cannot, go there with
Yeah.
this man or sabji wala.
Yeah.
But if you have the
Yeah.
willingness,
Yeah.
like you
If
say,
you have the curiosity,
curiosity भी होती है, willingness
or
नहीं
what
है.
does this person have going on? What does this person require?
Yeah, but the willingness is not there. That's what you are saying is very important.
Yeah.
If you have the willingness to, see
Yeah.
and hear.
It's interesting though, because aren't we born with curiosity?
Yes, but we are
So, and
very
then we
soon
learn not
born.
to not be. But I think that it's for anyone who has been once curious can always be curious. Is still curious,
Of course, you're
even if they're
curious
not
and
allowing
your
yourself to
curiosity
be
hurts you, but you're not willing to go
the
beyond.
non-curious.
Beyond.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, you can sit in a bar or a restaurant by yourself or a cafe by yourself, which many of us do that, but then you're not willing to engage with anyone.
Yeah.
Or you don't see any possibility. Even if you're willing,
Yeah.
there appears to be no possibility.
Oh, okay. Got
Mm.
it. Where you, yeah, interesting. Interesting. I have of late been choosing more and more of that, and the more uh, I mean, I have a way of saying, like, we had a book read recently, which is
So,
called
would you tell
Beyond the
people what a book read
Utopian.
is?
Book read is like you take a book and you read it, and the book that we pick, get together and read it, and everyone, like, we talk about it and we go around asking
You can,
questions about it.
and you do it on Zoom or something like that.
On Zoom live. This one was live on online,
Acha.
and it was for the book called Beyond the Utopian Ideal,
Hmm.
written by Gary Douglas, and it was interesting because we just kept asking the book club.
Hmm.
We just like kept playing with it and seeing who else wants to come play with us,
Hmm.
and we literally picked people. We were laughing there from the streets, but we went out to have like. Food and kebabs and rolls, and it was like street food kind of corner, and we were having food, and we just started chatting with the people who were making the food, and they said, what are you up to? And we said, we have this book club, and they said, we'll come. So what becomes available if we are willing to,
Yeah.
if we don't need for them to someone to come, if we don't need them to engage, but we are willing to, like you said, willing to, yeah, and
Yeah.
we're curious about, yeah, we're
So
more
you just went
interested
and
in,
said, hi, and let's do something. I mean, or would you want to? You went beyond the space of saying, thank you for the kebab and very
yeah,
delicious.
yeah. I think it's really following what, like, not having an agenda and seeing, will it
Mm.
go somewhere, will it not go somewhere, and just
Mm.
knowing that with your just saying hi, something different gets created. Like,
Mm.
what that what does that create? I think we've created a bit of a lonely world.
Yeah, we're all shrinking into our own little
uh,
space.
and the one thing good about the whole lockdown and isolation is that people realize they don't really want to be isolated as much as
Mm.
they thought.
Mm.
uh, and So what would choice with that be like?
Mm. Mm. Wow. Yeah, the world can be expanded. Your own world can be expanded. And
Yep.
then whoever can choose whatever they like,
Yeah,
but
I've been
you can
amazed
choose
how,
different.
yeah,
Ah,
I've been amazed how everyone has some gift, some ability, some capacity that's just
yeah, you can bring it
is.
to it. And the world is a stage,
Mhm.
as they say, Shakespeare said.
True.
And we are all actors. We are.
Yep.
So, yeah, yeah. So, in a very, very closed theatre space, there is a way that a ma acts. And
Hmm.
every actor from different generations will can just choose to act like that ma.
True.
बेटा तुम कब आ घर आ रहे हो, or the actor can play.
Yep.
And similarly in the world you can play, you can try to be a bad mother.
Yeah. Also, like, when you're saying that, it's also where, like, when you see theater, like, or performances, like, whether that's a comedian, or that's opera, or that's who actually connects, like, who do you feel connected with
Hmm.
more?
Hmm.
Like, that's something to be explored, right? Because it's you there might be people who are doing it absolutely, they've got the technique, nailed it,
Hmm.
but there's not much engagement occurring. You just
Yeah.
feel it's them, and then you're here. But there's some people who go beyond that.
Hmm.
Some artists, some designers, some
Yeah.
actors, some performers,
Hmm.
some directors who go beyond that, where you become part of that, where you feel like you have a say, and you're engaging with it, and they are
Hmm.
engaging with you,
Hmm.
and that's uh, that creates something different.
And which brings me in my head that more and more people are not willing to go out of their comfort zones into uncomfortable,
Yeah,
right? And that's why you can see a whole TV show, TV talk show, and that does nothing for you because you know
yeah,
that there's no human engagement there.
yeah,
So
yeah. And that's what perfectionism create, right? Like
yeah,
perfecting a technique or perfecting something or just having a technique, what it does is it creates separations.
uh,
It does not create communion. And so what does create communion? And
that
then
you
you
get
have
the
to
idea
be,
of perfection out of your head.
yeah. I have this friend who's been working with like women who don't get to go out as much as they could.
Mm,
And she's been working with them through her workshops. And she and I were having a conversation, and she was saying how she moved from, and she's also a designer and an art director. So how she moved from, I mean, it's something that she does, and she said while working with these people, she had to move from what she thought was perfection or what she thought was how the aesthetic should be or how the
mm.
design should be,
How
and how
relationships should be,
how
how women should be treated.
yeah, and all of that, and she had to literally become present with them and go, okay, what is available, what can we unveil here, what
And
can we tap
what is
into
their
here.
theater of joy actually?
Yeah, so what can, and what came out of it is beautiful.
Mm,
So and that's like with so many people, like one of the
yeah.
example is popping where,
Many times we take our ideas into, say, an underprivileged space
yeah,
and try to teach them our ideas and not even listen to them, and there's no communication anyway or communion.
yeah, and you don't realize you keep from receiving the gifts that they can give you with the choices that they've made.
Mm,
So it's
mm, mm.
uh, what occurs with just being present and going, what's available here is something totally
Amazing.
totally
Yeah.
different. Like
Yeah.
this podcast, we recorded it before, we had a totally different conversation, and what we are having now is a totally different conversation.
Yeah.
There's a sort of a sense of this thing there, but
Expansion.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there was this guy, I can't remember who was the friend, or who went up and made a speech and engaged with these thousands of people who were in the audience, and he had made a speech, and it was so well received, and everyone just engaged, and it changed
Mm.
people's world and everything. And he came out, and this guy was like, that was just amazing, can I get a copy of your speech? And he was like, sure. He gave the paper to him, and he opened the speech and he read it, and it was like not a single word was from, except for the first one of
I
hello,
know.
was from that speech. And he was like, oh,
Oh,
he
yeah.
actually
Let's
totally
just let
winged
the
it.
aeroplane go.
We have an airplane flying over us right now.
So you were saying that not a single word in that paper was from
What
the
he actually
speech
said.
said.
So he completely winged it. He changed it because he realized what he had decided these people require was very different from when he actually got on stage and started engaging with them.
Or he felt the energy and he responded to it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So what if you were willing to change at the drop of the dime and go
Yeah.
and sort of look at what is required here?
Change
Because you might
agendas, change points of views, change fixed points of views.
willingness to, yeah, you can, I mean, having points of views can be fun. I
Hmm.
mean, otherwise,
Hmm.
our points of
Hmm.
views create,
Hmm.
but let them be interesting. So you can
Hmm.
change them up at any point when they're
Hmm.
not serving you anymore.
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Wonderful. So, what else is your theatre of joy? Where else have you been playing? Or, I mean,
I hmm a million ways we can go with that.
I know.
uh
We have about, say, 5 or 10 more minutes. So, Let's expand into
Oh,
them.
what is my theater of joy? My theater of joy is like continuously exploring what tickles me and what tickles others,
Hmm.
and seeing where that can go. You know?
Regardless of, spending your time working seriously, making something out of your life and future, which actually you are doing with your choices.
Yeah, I
Mm,
do get that, having a broader sense of what you would like to create,
mm,
as how would you like your life to be in. I mean, you can. It wasn't. It's not easy for me to live, and I wonder how many people have that going on, where it's not easy for me to live from the space of this is how it is.
mm,
And so this is what you're supposed to do, and this is how you're supposed to live your life, and this
mm.
is how you're supposed to get a degree, and this is how you're supposed to
It's all kind of
uh,
mapped out for you. Katak, katak,
yeah, this
katak,
is what
katak,
you're
katak.
supposed to.
Yeah, like a
Yeah,
machine working.
yeah. So
Mm,
that has always kept me curious, even if like there have been moments or sometimes years where I find myself in a place where I'm like, huh. But there's always uh, a sense of getting clearer on what is it that I would like
mm,
my life to be like. What is it that I would like the world to be like?
mm,
And I know it sometimes can feel like, what is that one person that you can change, or
mm,
you can create. But it's really, recognizing how easy it is, and how difficult we are making. We are making it, because it's very difficult when you think you have to change the world and
mm,
people, but it's very
mm.
easy to, when you are willing to choose uh,
Whatever it takes.
what works.
And I don't think candlelight processions, and maybe they would,
Hmm.
but they're not the only answer.
No, I think, well, if it works in a situation, sure, to create, what is it creating, I would ask. But I would say the more, if, okay, so for example, if we all were choosing that actually makes us joyful rather than what we are
Yes,
supposed to,
that was wonderfully right.
what a world would it be?
Yeah,
And wherever that we are not choosing to be choosing that makes us joyful, do we have the allowance for others choosing it?
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's important, because if you allow yourself, you allow the others. If you don't allow yourself,
No, it's a little
mm,
difficult to allow
yeah.
others.
Like I remember a teacher in school who would not laugh or banter or just was, okay, let's get this done.
Yeah,
And she didn't tolerate any of us laughing and,
yeah,
expanding. Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
if you are it, then you can, you know,
yeah.
allow
And
others.
what it is, some sort of a, even if in a momentary thing you go like, how can, I mean, you people who are willing to have more ease and more joyful are not necessarily the people who uh, are considered to be people who will achieve anything.
Yeah.
Uh, and hard and difficult and hard work is sort of given more value at this point.
Hmm.
Um,
But if hard work is giving you joy, there's no rightness and wrongness
it's
about what
not
gives you joy or what gives other people joy.
it's not about hard in the sense of, like, so what is hard work?
Hmm. But sometimes, if your body is enjoying your training or a tough gym schedule or something like that, that's fun as joy.
That's not hard work. You're still
Mm,
choosing something that makes you joyful.
yes,
If you
yes.
are
So
choosing
I
it,
was
but
just, yeah, going to,
if you're doing, yeah, if you're doing it because you're supposed to do it, then it's a
mm,
different story. But if you're
mm,
doing it because you're enjoying it, I mean, that's something to be looked at, like, for you, uh how many things do you choose in a day that are from what you're supposed to do, and how many things are that will make you joyful? Because I mean, whatever that it actually comes to you, and I'm also exploring that right now more and more, asking like, I loved what um, uh, uh, this thing about the definition about business being
Mm.
that it's what's fun for you that
Mm.
makes you money.
Haha, that brings it to another angle. And I think that calls for another podcast episode
And
where we can talk about,
sequel for one
yeah.
day.
I
Yeah,
mean, like, business is that which gives you joy.
yep.
A business that gives you joy will make you money. Wait for it, guys. We're coming with
Has
that.
more has total chances of success than
Yeah,
the others.
I
The others
know.
are hard work.
This sounds wonderful. Thank you so much, Ina.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
thank you. I think this podcast went to spaces and places that we it hasn't earlier. So I'm sure the podcast
Yay.
is also very happy
Are you happy,
and
podcast?
joyful.
Yes.
Thank you so much.